Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to the Fairy Amazon Challenge in The Sims 4. We are following the reign of Queen Supriya Reed Daisy, who has recently welcomed her teenage heiress into the main court. While Crown Princess Lynette has no doubt had a rough start to politics, the monarch has noticed the effort her firstborn is putting into becoming the most suitable successor possible, and she wants to help give her daughter a further push in the right direction. For the longest time, the Queen has held a candle in her heart for a particular match, and the time has come to put it into motion. With this in mind, Supriya is announcing the betrothal of Queen Justin's son, Prince Uther, to her eldest daughter, Crown Princess Lynette. In doing so, she will link the Reed Daisy and Crocus Fade bloodlines for the ages to come. It is her hope that the previous dynasty, and any respect people bear it, will strengthen her family's position in the queendom, that any doubts the court has about their heiress will be wiped away by the glory of two bloodlines uniting. Uther's feelings on the matter are a little conflicted. While he's grateful to Queen Supriya and the effort she's put into raising him, he's only ever had one friend among the children of his generation, golden-haired Vivian. And a small part of him has always thought that she would make the best match once they came of age. Everyone adores the Night Embers, including him. Not to mention, he and the Crown Princess don't exactly have the best impression of each other. Meanwhile, Lynette isn't too pleased herself with the arrangement. She knows her mother is just trying to make things easier for her, but feels like this is yet another part of herself she's having to give away. When she looks at Uther, she sees too many differences between them, and no version of a future where she'll see him as an equal. In fact, all she feels about him comes down to the harsh truth that he's the son of a fallen dynasty. So how is he worthy of her, and why should she need him for anything? We are picking up almost at 9 a.m. on Saturday. The royal betrothal has come to an end and everyone has scattered to different parts of the royal fairy grounds. I want to jump over to Uther and see what is going on with Uther in terms of his relationships with the other youngsters. So let's take a look. It seems as though Uther is friends with Vivian, and he is kind of close to Titania as well, and Jadis a little bit. And he doesn't really have any sort of friendship or relationship with Crown Princess Lynette, Tinka, or Sycorax. And the thing with Lynette is he has a bad compatibility to her, or with her. So it's kind of unfortunate. He thinks the same way about Lynette that everyone else does, that she is a lazy princess. She is not really interested in the well-being of the fairies. She's kind of spoiled, and he doesn't think too highly of her, which is kind of funny because Lynette feels the same way about him in that she thinks that he's not worthy enough to be paired with her. But Uther, yeah, he has had kind of one friend throughout his childhood, and that has been, of course, Vivian, golden-haired Vivian. And if anything, he's had it in his mind that a match with Vivian would have been kind of ideal for him. I don't think he wants his former influence, like his family's former influence, to be used by anyone. He doesn't really want to become a tool. His family's time has come and gone with the death of his mother, Queen Justin, and to be honest, I think Uther would be happy to live a quiet life, hopefully married to, one of the nobility in the future, but that's not what Supriya has planned for him. She wants to fully utilize his royal blood by tying him to her family and kind of securing their place even more so in the very fabric of the queendom. And I think in the eyes of Supriya, her daughter really needs this match because even though she is trying very hard, she is nowhere near as good as her younger sister Jadis. Like, everyone would kind of fall behind Jadis and support her, but Supriya's gonna need a lot more. Lynette is gonna need a lot more work. And I think Supriya is hoping that her match with Uther is gonna be a strong enough bond that everyone will be able to rally behind that and say, you know what, we can get behind a queen who is going to give us a kind of very pure and very royal heiress in the future. So even if Lynette herself is not the best example of what a fairy monarch should be, the fact that she's betrothed to a royal prince might mean that her daughter in the future is going to be kind of the epitome of what a royal fairy should be. So a lot is riding. Where is Uther? Oh my goodness. Uther, where'd you go? Where is he? A lot is riding on him. So things are a little bit uncertain. They're a bit conflicted. So we've got that. Now the funny thing is that yes, Uther doesn't really want to be used as a tool, and he doesn't really want to get paired up with Lynette. If we look at the relationship he has with all the ladies in the main court, he has, I think, the closest relationship to Queen Cypria. He has 100 friendship with her. So at the end of the day, he would listen to her and what she wants of him. I think he would put her feelings over his. That would be more important to him in the grand scheme of things. He has also 100 friendship with Kayla, which is interesting, and 100 with Katerina. And then he has a 53 with Brent, and like we said, not really anything going on with Lynette. He has a 2 friendship with her. But yeah, Katerina, he's really fond of Lady Katerina. He knows that everyone pretty much adores the Night Ember family, including their daughters, and he kind of feels the same. I think in his head, Katerina being his mother-in-law would be such a kind of privileged, wonderful thing because she's well loved. Like, you would kind of have an easy life getting married into her family. Whereas with Queen Cypria, she kind of has high expectations, and I don't know if Uther feels that he is built for a life in the limelight. So that's kind of what we have going on with Prince Uther and Lynette. Lynette's kind of going through the motions of what her mother wants. She doesn't feel too strongly about Uther, but at the end of the day, she doesn't really have a good impression of him either. She's not really interested in getting to know him. I mean, I'm curious to see where this is going to go in the future. The one maybe unifying factor they have, or the one bridge they have, is that they both hold Vivian and Titania in high regard. So if anything, who knows, Vivian might be the bridge. Vivian and Titania might be the bridge between these two. But it could very quickly turn into something, I don't know, complicated, especially if we find out in the future that Vivian returns some of the affection that Uther has. I don't know. That is going to be quite fascinating. So, okay, I kind of want to see what's going on with everyone's whims and where they are at in that regard, because I'm curious to see how everyone feels about this new arrangement that's been made. We are picking up at almost 2 p.m. on Saturday with the Crown Princess and the Falcon Russell twins, Tinker and Sycorax. Now, Crown Princess Lynette, she wants to confess to being socially awkward, and I'm curious as to who she wants to confess this to. I think the whole situation with the betrothal, it's putting a lot of pressure on her, and she just needs to talk to someone about how she's feeling. Otherwise, she's going to combust. At least that's how she feels. It's like she's been pretending to be someone that she's not, and it does put a whole lot of mental strain on her, because this is something that comes really easy to her younger sister. So she's having to deal with all this pressure, and I think a part of her, even though she's grown up hearing that she is going to be betrothed to Uther, was hoping that her mother would delay it or put it off, or it wouldn't actually be the case. But it's kind of all happened way too soon. Like, she just came into the main court. She just moved into the main court. So let's take a look at, it's going to be someone in the household, I'm sure. So let's see. She has a 0 friendship with Lady Kayla. She has a 74 friendship with her mother. I think we'll include Prince Uther in some of the whims. I'm not going to do his whim, but we'll include him because he's going to be in the household with us for this episode, just so we can get a little bit more familiar with him. And it is the betrothal episode, so I want his presence kind of here. She has a 1 friendship with Uther, a 1 with Bren, a 32 with Katerina, and a 13 with Brent. So she's actually going to go to her mother, which I did not anticipate. And she might want to tell her mother that she's feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Where would this be, I wonder? Where would this be? Would this be under complaints? No. Deep thoughts, maybe? No. Not in affection, or hobbies, or interests. Where is it in small talk? I think that would be asking for social advice. Maybe. I don't know where else this would be. I'm going to just go for that. She's essentially going to go to her mother, and I feel like this is surprisingly courageous of her. She is going to tell her mother that this was all very unexpected, and she's feeling a little bit overwhelmed by everything. So, come on, Lynette. Let's go over to Queen Cypria. Are you going to go to her, or is she going to come to you? Okay, Cypria is going to go and check up on her daughter, I think. Because look, who is Cypria with? Jadis. Where is Jadis seated? On one of the counselors' seats. It's almost as though she is trying to, once more, prove to her mother that actually she's the one more suited to this whole thing than her older sister is. Like, Jadis doesn't even have to try that hard. Okay, Lynette ended up coming to Cypria. For a second, it seemed like Cypria was going to check up on Lynette, but the queen's attention quickly went back to Jadis, and Lynette realized, okay, I have to go to my mother because she's getting distracted by my sister. Okay, she's going to let her mother know, and the awkward thing about this whole conversation is that Jadis is right here. Technically, this is a weakness of Lynette's that she's sharing with her mother, and Jadis might kind of put this away somewhere to be addressed at a later point because Lynette is rivals with her sister. Now the sad thing is that her mother, after hearing that, has kind of, where the hell has she gone? She's flown off. Yeah, she's flown off, and Jadis has kind of followed, which makes me so sad. I kind of feel like I want to consider that done, but I kind of feel like Cypria told Lynette that this isn't the time and place to discuss that, and she kind of shut that down. Oh, Lynette. I feel so bad for her. She thought she could talk to her mother about it, but her mother wasn't really wanting to entertain that conversation. Okay, Prince Uther, meanwhile, how are you feeling? Okay, did I actually... Oh, hold on. I think I included a whim for Uther. I think I did. Okay, well, in that case, Uther, why don't we see what you're up to and what you want to do? I wasn't planning to do a whim for him, but apparently I had one saved. It might be good just to see what's going on in his mind a little bit. Uther wants to plant something. Now, the way I'm interpreting this is that he wishes to get away from it all. He doesn't want to be stopped by anyone. He doesn't want to be talked to by anyone. He doesn't really want to bring too much attention to this whole thing. So he's gonna try and actually escape into the underground, into the green room, and he just wants to plant in peace, kind of think on his own about the situation he's now in. I feel like maybe a part of Uther always knew that yes, he is being really well looked after, but the queen is kind of going to exact a price for this at some stage in his life, and this is kind of the price. And he holds the queen in such high regard, I don't think he would want to go against her, even though it's not necessarily something he wishes for himself. Queen Cypria, meanwhile, wants to listen to winter holiday music. You know what? She is feeling celebratory. She's feeling very, very happy. Let's see, winter holiday. Where is it? There we go, winter holiday. Yeah, the queen, she feels really good. She feels as though she has successfully managed to secure her daughter's position in the court as the heiress, and she thinks as a queen that she is doing the right thing, and as a mother she is doing the right thing to ensure Lynette's future. She knows that Lynette has to work kind of twice as hard as Jadis to make an impression on everyone, and she's doing what she thinks is the right thing, even though it's not the right thing for Lynette. Brent, meanwhile, she wants to listen to alternative music. Okay, she's talking to her daughters, and her daughters earlier on were talking to Lynette before she went to Supriya. And I think her daughters were able to tell that Lynette isn't too happy with the betrothal, and they're probably telling their mother that. And Brant, she's in this interesting position where she's able to observe everything that's happening. She's also hearing a lot of things from her daughters that they kind of noticed within the younger generation. And Brant, I think, kind of knows that the relationship between Katerina's family and Supriya's family, it might be teetering on the edge of something unknown. And Prince Uther might be that unknown. So let's get her to change the station to alternative, and she's gonna come here and listen to this. So come on, Brent. Let's come over here, listen to some music. But I definitely feel like Brent and her daughters, like that whole family, they're quite a united force. And then with Katerina. I think Katerina is the final lady we'll be going through the whims of. Because I don't want to spend too long doing everyone right now. She wants to read something. So we're going to send her up to the gallery. And I'll get her to pick up a book. Wait, can we just read something, like anything? She's going to go read. And I think what Katerina wants to do, she is kind of being or trying to be a really good counselor to the queen. She knows the queen basically comes to her for everything, consults her about everything. And she wants to know how, I think, successful betrothals have been in the vampire queendom. Because really, that's the only example and frame of reference they have. Like, what's the likelihood of a betrothal lasting and heading into marriage? And she might get a little bit of a spook if she looks into the history of betrothals with the vampire queendom. Because many betrothals have been broken by death. And I think we've had 2 marriages in the vampire court. And 1 marriage has been destroyed by death as well. So there's only kind of 1 surviving marriage. But it's been very, very rough for them. And so Katerina is, I think, maybe realizing the gravity of the union between Lynette and Uther. Yeah, so that's kind of fascinating. There's a lot of moving pieces we have here in the fairy court. Also, something we need to be preparing for, I think in the next episode, is going to be our summer event, which is the Royal Archery Contest. And the way I'm going to be hosting that is basically holding a social event from the phone. Like, we're going to do a social event that is an archery competition, and everyone will kind of take care of themselves, and hopefully we should get a pop-up by the end of that party, by the end of that event, saying that we have a victor. So I'm not going to be doing kind of one fairy against one fairy like I did in Vampire Amazon. I was pitting each vampire against each other, but it ended up becoming long and tedious. We have a better way of doing this, so we are going to host the contest, but it is going to be a social event. And once that competition is done, we will have our victor. And that's going to be exciting because the victor is going to get an influence point for that. So this is actually going to be a great opportunity for Lynette potentially to make her mark and start changing the impression that everyone has of her, of being a lazy princess. This might be a good way for her to finally get people to acknowledge her as heiress, that she's, capable of doing something without her mother's help and without Uther's help. And oh my goodness, look at how everyone just trashes this up. Like, what is going on. This is not where we put all of these things. This is ridiculous. They don't know how to like treat their spaces nicely and cleanly. Like this is disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. And so is Jadis. Jadis, you need to go take a bath or something, honey, because you are like stinking up the place. Just saying. And with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.